This is your USMNT Abroad weekend update from April 8th to April 10th of 2022. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to another USMNT Abroad episode, where every Monday we update you on how the Yanks did abroad over the weekend, and every Friday we update you on how the Yanks did abroad over the midweek. I know the past few updates have been somewhat depressing or with many bad news, but we're here, we're still doing it. And there's some exciting content coming up this week, because this week we will be doing an exclusive video for England and an exclusive video for Iran with a special guest for each one, so we can talk about our opponents during the World Cup. You can learn more about England, even though you probably know a lot about England, and you're going to learn more about Iran, which you probably don't know much, so stay tuned for that. We will also be doing a live watch-along on Wednesday night for the CONCACAF Champions League semifinals second leg between New York City FC and the Seattle Sounders. Exciting game. It looks like the Sounders will advance, but you never know. So I'll see you all on Wednesday. And yeah, the England video will be out on Tuesday. The Iran video will be out on Thursday. So make sure to smash that like button for this video if you enjoy this type of content. And subscribe so you don't miss all the other videos. And maybe hit that notification bell if you want to. Okay? I can't force you. Thank you very much. Let's play the intro and let's get with the episode. Okay, we're going to start the episode with Christian Pulisic from Chelsea. On Saturday, Pulisic started off on the bench and came in at halftime for Chelsea during their 6-0 win over Southampton. Now, Pulisic came in for Kai Havertz at halftime when the game was already 4-0, so Thomas Tuchel was essentially rotating as he was looking forward to the Real Madrid match over the midweek for the Champions League. For Chelsea's 6th goal, Pulisic was able to get a nice shot off a cross from Alonso, a good off-the-ball movement, and a good finish from Christian Pulisic. You need to hit the target, and he did. That led to the rebound that Mason Mount would go on to score Chelsea's 6th goal in this match. In terms of stats, Pulisic had 26 touches, 70% passing accuracy, 1 shot on target, 1 shot blocked, won 1 out of 4 ground duels, while losing possession only 8 times. Quick update on Weston McKennie. He's still out with a broken foot, but Allegri once again said that he fully expects Weston to be back this season, more specifically in May, which means he'll get still 3 to 4 games this season, which is absolutely fantastic considering it's a very serious injury. Next up is Gio Reyna from Borussia Dortmund, and this is probably the worst update of this weekend, at least the worst one in my opinion. On Friday, Gio Reyna started for Dortmund but was subbed off at the first minute with a hamstring and tendon injury, which looked like a pulled hamstring as he was sprinting with the ball at the time. The Borussia Dortmund medical department probably has the worst set of employees possible, or at least in top leagues soccer. Gio Reyna is not the only one with ongoing injuries this season for Dortmund. We saw Haaland have a lot of issues with that as well. Now, it looks like Gio Reyna is done for the season. At least these are the reports from Dortmund. And honestly, it's better for him to not play this season. Rest, let it heal, come to the United States, find the best specialist possible and treat it properly. I'm sure Claudio Reyna can help him connect with the right specialist. And Claudio Reyna did deal with a lot of these injuries throughout his career. It was painful to see Gio Reyna leave the field crying. That hurt my soul, honestly, to watch that. And one thing that truly worries me was Claudio Reyna, his dad, was very injury prone, also with a lot of little muscle injuries. So let's hope Giovanni treats this and doesn't have the same issues that Claudio had throughout his career. I mean, I'm not trying to put that out there. That's going to happen. Hopefully he does heal, and hopefully it's growing pains. I mean, he grew a lot the past year, like physically grew, got taller. But that does concern me a little bit because of what happened to his dad throughout his career. Next update is on Serginho Dest, and he wasn't available for Barcelona over the weekend as he's still recovering from injury. But apparently he will be available for their match on Thursday for the Europa League, according to Xavi. So no, this is not me speculating. Now, Tyler Adams, Chris Richards, and Justin Che, because RB Leipzig faced Hoffenheim over the weekend. On Sunday, Chris Richards started and went the full 90 minutes for Hoffenheim, while Justin Che stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes during their 3-0 loss to Leipzig. For the same game, and for Leipzig, Tyler Adams returned to the team from injury by starting off on the bench and coming in at halftime when the game was already 3-0 for Leipzig. During the match, Chris Richards really did not have any direct blame for any of the 3 goals they allowed. However, the third one, he was poor in transition, right? Poor on defending in transition, but so was the entire team. Besides that, he really has no blame on the other 2 goals. Despite the lineup showing a back 3, Chris Richards played as a left center back and a back 4, so there were only 2 center backs. That's at least what I saw throughout the match. Now, Tyler Adams was playing as one of the 6s in a dual pivot in a 3-4-2-1 formation, so dual pivot 6. For this match, Chris Richards had 1 clearance, 1 block shot, 2 tackles, 2 dribbles passed, while having 89 touches and a 90% passing accuracy. Now, Tyler Adams in 45 minutes had 30 touches, 1 key pass, 74% passing accuracy, won 3 out of 4 ground duels, and won 2 out of 2 aerial duels. Now, a quick update on Jesse Marsch, the manager of Leeds United. Leeds United have defeated Watford over the weekend 3-0, so look, Jesse Marsch pretty much accomplished this season's goal, which is to escape relegation. They're not going to get relegated. Time to confirm it with 1 more win, and then they will most certainly not get relegated. And then he can start planning and preparing for the next season. This will be his big challenge, to have a strong 2022-2023 season. Regardless, he has helped save Leeds United from relegation. Now let's do it by positions, and we'll start the goalkeepers because that's the order we go, and they're all benched. So over the weekend, Zach Steffen stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes for Manchester City during their 2-2 draw with Liverpool, and that game, completely off topic from the Americans abroad, that game is the highest level of soccer you'll see in terms of tactics and technique and just level of play. You know, Liverpool and Manchester City, one of the most well-coached teams in the world, and also with most of the best players in the world as well. But going on to Nottingham Forest, Ethan Horvath stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes as well. Bryce Samba started and had a clean sheet. So things are not looking good for Ethan Horvath in the English Championship. He lost the starting job as we reported last week. He should honestly just go to MLS over the summer, to Atlanta United more specifically, because Brad Guzan has been terrible. Atlanta United fans know that very well, so that's a good option. And honestly, a goalkeeper in MLS, you still get the playing time, and we can't have Horvath on the bench for Nottingham Forest, Steffen on the bench for Manchester City, and Matt Turner on the bench for Arsenal leading up to the World Cup. Now let's go to the center backs, and we'll start with John Brooks from Wolfsburg. And since we're talking about Wolfsburg, we'll talk about Kevin Paredes as well, that he made his debut in Bundesliga, and we'll talk about George Bello right now because Wolfsburg and Arminia Bielefeld faced each other over the weekend. On Saturday, John Brooks started and went the full 90 minutes for Wolfsburg during their 4-0 win over Arminia Bielefeld. Now, Brooks played as a left center back and a back 3 for Wolfsburg, and he had a good game, or a decent game to say the least. For this one, Brooks had 1 clearance, 2 tackles, 1 dribble pass. He also won 2 out of 5 ground duels and 2 out of 3 aerial duels while having 81 touches and an 86% passing accuracy. For the same match, George Bello stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes for Arminia Bielefeld. Now, Kevin Paredes did make his Bundesliga debut, and that is fantastic news, but at the same time, it was somewhat frustrating to see because of this guy, Florian Kohfeldt. He is public enemy number 2 of U.S. Soccer, just behind the U.S. Soccer Federation. They were up 4-0 with 30 minutes left, over 30 minutes left. He sent in Kevin Paredes in the last 3 to 4 minutes of this match. I mean, come on, at least give the kid 20 minutes. The game was set by then. Pretty much sent him into this game just to say he played the kid. And this is the same coach that coached Josh Sargent at Werder Bremen. Now, Eric Palmer-Brown from Troyes in Ligue 1. On Sunday, Palmer-Brown started and then played a full 90 minutes for Troyes during their 2-1 loss to Monaco. Palmer-Brown played most of the game as a central center back in a back 3 and had a strong performance. For this match, Palmer-Brown had 7 clearances, 1 block shot, 3 interceptions, 3 tackles, no dribbles passed, won 4 out of 5 ground duels, won 2 out of 3 aerial duels, and had 60 touches with an 88% passing accuracy. The next center back is Mark McKenzie from Genk in Belgium. On Sunday, McKenzie started and went the full 90 minutes for Genk during their 2-0 win over Serai. Another start for Mark McKenzie and another clean sheet, so that is good news. The last center back we're going to talk about is Cameron Carter-Vickers from Celtic in Scotland. On Saturday, CCV started and went the full 90 minutes for Celtic during their 7-0 win over St Johnstone in the Scottish Premiership. Now, this was the last game of the regular season, and the top 6 teams will advance to the championship round, which is also based off points, and the points do carry on. So Celtic are still the favorites to win the Scottish Premiership, as they did finish 6 points ahead of the Rangers. Now, before we go to the fullbacks in this video, don't forget to check out the Tactical Yanks podcast. The link is on the description. Yes, me and Pete are in this podcast, us and 11 Yanks, and we will be addressing, for example, this week, CONCACAF and CONMEBOL merging. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What is good about it? What is bad about it? All in the podcast and much more. We're about to ramp it up and have 2 episodes a week there, so make sure you check out the podcast and drop a review while you're at it. Now let's go to the fullbacks. So for the fullbacks, the first one will be Anthony Robinson, or Jedi Robinson, and Tim Ream from Fulham. On Sunday, Robinson and Ream started and went the full 90 minutes for Fulham during their 3-1 loss to Coventry in the English Championship. Next up is Reggie Cannon from Boavista. On Saturday, Cannon started as a right centre-back for Boavista in a back 3 formation during their 1-0 win over Arouca in Liga NOS in Portugal. The next fullback is Sam Vines from Antwerp in Belgium. On Saturday, Sam Vines started and went the full 90 minutes for Antwerp during their 1-1 draw with Cercle Brugge. Now, that is also the end of the regular season in Belgium, to which the top 4 clubs on the league play a championship round, just like I mentioned in the Scottish Premiership, where they will face each other in home and away matches. So that's a little bit different from Scotland. The amount of points does carry on from the next round, however, they are cut in half. So if there was an 8-point gap between the first and second, it essentially becomes 4. I like this format, and it's a little bit different from the Scottish Premiership, as I said. Similar, but different. Okay, so the other fullback that we're going to talk about now is Brian Reynolds from Kortrijk. On Sunday, Brian Reynolds started and played 84 minutes for Kortrijk during their 3-2 loss to Anderlecht. Now, Brian Reynolds did score in this match, and he also played as a left back once again, proving that he can play on the right back and left back. Versatility is always good. The next fullback is Joe Scally from Borussia, not Dortmund or Gladbach, and Julian Green and Tim Tillman because they faced Firth over the weekend. On Saturday, Joe Scally started and went the full 90 minutes for Gladbach during their 2-0 win over Firth in Bundesliga. Scally got the start due to Ben Sebae being injured, which led to Scally playing as a left wing back the full 90 minutes. In possession, he would push quite high up the field, as always, as he's always been. And I mean, he always holds his own on Bundesliga just fine. However, I do think he could be a little bit better on the ball, at least more effective on the ball, more decisive. He can do better on the ball. That's all I'm trying to say. He hasn't been offering much when in possession. Now, Julian Green and Tim Tillman both started for Firth, and both were subbed out at the 78th minute. The last 2 fullbacks are Jonathan Gomez from Real Sociedad B and Shaq Moore from Tenerife, as they both faced each other over the weekend in La Liga 2. On Saturday, Jonathan Gomez started and played 56 minutes for Real Sociedad B during their 2-1 loss to Tenerife in La Liga 2. Now, for the same match, Shaq Moore started for Tenerife and played 74 minutes. Gomez played as a left back for Real Sociedad B, and Shaq Moore played as a right back for Tenerife. Now, let's go to the midfielders, and we'll start with Yunus Musa from Valencia. He plays this Monday, so if you're watching the game or you know anything about the game, comment down below. I'll have more updates on him when I watch his performance or rewatch it on Friday. Next up is Johnny Cardoso from Internacional in Brazil. On Sunday, Johnny started off on the bench and stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes for Internacional at their 2-0 loss to Atlético Mineiro for the first round of the Brazilian League. And yes, Atlético Mineiro are the current champions, and Hulk scored a brace for this match. Next up is Alan Sonora from Independiente at Argentina. On Saturday, Alan started off on the bench and came in at the 66th minute for Independiente during their 1-1 draw with Tigre in the Argentine League. Next up are the Venezia boys, Tanner Tessman and Gianluca Busio from Venezia, obviously. On Sunday, Busio started and played 52 minutes, while Tanner Tessman stayed on the bench the full 90 for Venezia during their 2-1 loss to Udinese. A late loss, as they tied the game at the 86th minute, only to allow a goal after the 90th. Busio played as an 8, aka a central midfielder. He did get a yellow card early in the game at the first minute or so, which looked to me that he started to avoid 50-50 balls after that, even though it was very early in the game. I'm just saying it looked like it affected his game, and he had a very average to weak performance, in my opinion. Next up is James Sands from Rangers. On Sunday, Sands started off on the bench and came in at halftime for Aaron Ramsey during Rangers' 4-0 win over St. Mirren in the Scottish Premiership. Brendan Aronson is still out for at least 2 to 3 more weeks for RB Salzburg, but he is expected to be back this season. That's what I have to say about Brendan right now. Now, Luca De La Torre from Heracles. On Sunday, Luca De La Torre started and went the full 90 minutes for Heracles during their 4-1 loss to Feyenoord. For the same match, Cole Bassett stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes for Feyenoord. Luca De La Torre is a player I would love to see at a better club. Not necessarily a better league, just a better team, where he has players that he can combine with and forwards that can actually finish. So I'm not saying he needs to move to a top 5 league. Moving to a top team in the Eredivisie would already be good enough. For example, Feyenoord, as we just saw. Staying in Netherlands, let's talk about Richie Ledesma from PSV. Richie Ledesma stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes for PSV over the weekend, and don't expect him to get minutes this season at all, if any. They are trying to win the league, and Roger Schmidt ain't gonna rotate. Okay, let's move on to the forwards now in this video, and now we're gonna start with Timothy Weah for Lille. He was suspended over the weekend, didn't play. He was also suspended last week, so last week, sorry for the confusion, I said he was out of the game and I wasn't sure why. Well, he was suspended. He got a red card before the US men's national team camp, so he also was suspended over this weekend. Connor de la Fuente is done for the season. He's going to undergo surgery on his knee due to cartilage damage. So we already reported that on Friday. I'm just mentioning it once again. Now, Ricardo Pepi from Augsburg in Bundesliga. On Saturday, Pepi started off on the bench and came in at the 56th minute for Augsburg during their 1-0 loss to Bayern. Not a bad loss, considering it was 0-0 till the 82nd minute until Robert Lewandowski scored off a PK. Pepi did fine this game. Nothing super good and nothing bad. He had some good moments and some bad ones. He did pretty well a few times on the press and some combinations at times. This season is all about him getting adjusted. Next season, we can slowly demand more. Arriving mid-season, being only 19 in a different country at a top 5 league, all I hope is that he gets at least one goal till the season ends in Bundesliga, and he has 5 more games to do so. Now, Matthew Hoppe from Mallorca. So Hoppe stayed on the bench as always the full 90 minutes for Mallorca over the weekend, but at least they defeated Atletico Madrid and got themselves out of the relegation zone for now. And now let's talk about Nico Gioacchini from Montpellier in France, which he stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes over the weekend, so there's not much to talk about there. Josh Sargent was not available for Norwich. He's still recovering from the ankle injury, and it's still unclear when he will be able to return. Next up is Pifok from BSC Young Boys. On Saturday, Pifok started and went the full 90 minutes for BSC Young Boys during their 2-2 draw with Lucerne in the Swiss League. Pifok scored their first goal in the match off a PK. For this one, Pifok also had 44 touches, 68% passing accuracy, 2 key passes, 1 shot on target, 2 shots off target, 3 block shots. He also won 1 ground duel he had, and he won 4 out of 6 aerial duels. Now, Fullerting Balogun from Middlesbrough. On Saturday, Balogun started and played 64 minutes for Middlesbrough during their 1-0 loss to Hull City in the English Championship. Alright everyone, that does it for this video. Don't forget to smash the like button if you made it this far. Thank you very much also for staying this far in the video and all the support. Don't forget to check out the Tactical Yanks podcast. The link's on the description. And on Tuesday, we'll have the England preview. Not preview, but deep dive into the English national team. And on Thursday, we'll have the one with Iran with special guests so you can learn more about him. And don't forget to watch along on Wednesday for the CONCACAF Champions League. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and have a great day.